Listen, I know we've had a regular open the past couple of shows. I don't remember it. I'm furious. I'm Coley Mick. I'm here with Cousin Stiz, Boot of the Ball, Noah, and Jake Yazzie. We're powered by Underdog Fantasy. If you go there right now, you download the application on your phone, you enter code BANNER19, you're going to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And if you want to take the higher on Celtics turnovers and offensive rebounds yielded, you're probably going to win a lot of money. Because I don't know if we were even recording yet. Stiz brought up Dyson Daniels, and I was saying this to Buddha beforehand. If you throw a basketball directly at me 6 times, I'm going to catch it all 6 times. I like Dyson Daniels as a basketball player. This isn't an anti-Dyson Daniels thing. There was no like extraordinary effort I saw from Dyson Daniels, and I saw a lack of effort from the Boston Celtics. This is the first time we've recorded directly after. I almost called an episode a game directly after a game. This is the first time we've recorded. Naturally, they had to lose because they're jackasses. Fellas, what did we think about the loss? Which, by the way, I said this beforehand. Celtics are 1-3 their last 4 games against the Atlanta Hawks. The only one coming when Trae did play.
So we can't beat the Trae-less Hawks, essentially.
Can't
get it done against the Trae-less Hawks. I think naturally the bright lights of the in-season tournament, the nerves were high in the arena, in the Garden, and our boys maybe let things get to them. Or it was the exact opposite of, we're playing against the Trae-less Hawks. Let's, kind of walk through this. And it kind of seemed like that a lot of the times with 20 turnovers. We just got to fight, man. In games like that, bro, we shouldn't be in a dogfight with Atlanta, especially not when they have Trae Young. But in those games when they're playing physical like that, bro, we gotta out physical people, man.
Mm-hmm. Emotions are running high right now. I'm in some real danger of saying some dumb shit on this podcast tonight. Like, I'm pissed off right now. I am pissed.
I want to hear your top 5 trade targets for Jaylen Brown. He missed the shot, He did miss the final shot. People want to focus on the shots he did hit. I'm focused on the one he missed. That also includes, I believe, 4 at the free throw line tonight. He has come into the year shooting well from the charity stripe. I believe he shot 6 of 10 tonight. So he shot better from the field. I think it was 63% tonight. He shot better on jumpers, threes, and dunks than he did from the free throw line. Buddha, who are you eyeing in the Jaylen Brown trade rumors at this moment?
All right. I said some dumb shit last podcast, like I will again on this, like I just said. What I wanted to say, and sometimes you say things out loud and then you like hear them back and you're like, what? And I think someone on Twitter called it blasphemy. I think that's pretty accurate. What I was trying to say last week was I think the Celtics team is good enough to win a title without Jaylen Brown. Like, let's say he wasn't healthy. They were good enough last year without Porzingis. But at the end of the day, they're not. They're not. And this game is a wake-up call. Somebody just texted me saying this is a wake-up call, and I agree with that. I mean, I know it's early in the season, but you had the opportunity to put your foot, on their necks at certain points throughout that game, and you let them hang around, and ultimately, this Boston Celtics team should not be playing one-possession basketball games with anybody.
No, not often. I did think they had a couple of stretches at the end of the Hawks game. They'd go up 3, they'd go up 5, and then fucking Larry Nance or some jackass would just hit a 3.
Bro. Unlock the Steph.
Jaylen Johnson throws up a lob, or floater rather. I guess it hit rim. It seemed like he just threw it and caught it. 3 Celtics, I believe it was Jaylen, D. White, and Tatum, all converge on him. He catches it and he just right out to Larry Nance for a 3. I thought Tatum did not have his best game by any stretch. And after he rolled his ankle again, which that needs to knock it off. We're not rolling ankles anymore, JT. We're done with
rolling J's.
If we need to go back to I like that. If we need to go back to the Tatum 2s, we'll go back to the Tatum 2s. If the 3s keep rolling ankles, they're out. They're out of the rotation quickly.
Straight up.
Yeah, we can't have it because after they showed the replay, it looked more like he jammed it, which I like less, but after he did that on Nance too, he wasn't as effective. He couldn't cut. He couldn't move as well. He was grimacing. He had the 3 rim out. I don't think that had anything to do with his ankle. But they did drop the final, what was supposed to be the final play to go to him. And instead of just going and getting the ball, he kind of didn't go all the way. Scal was blaming Drew for the pass. Couldn't disagree more. He said, you just lob it in there. All night, the Celtics were trying to lob passes in, and they were just getting pick six, housed, run the other way all night. That was not the time to be trying to do it again. The pass was fine. Tatum just, I don't know, he was like bracing for his foot to plant. I can't have that. I can't have any more injuries. I can't have, this is the second time in a week he's rolled his ankle. Don't like it.
Yeah, man, it's tough, bro. We lost our first game. Uphill battle after this now. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
What do we think of the court?
I'm mad at the loss. I'm mad at the court. I'm mad at the loss. I'm mad at the everything, bro. I'm mad at the everything, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I do blame the court for how poorly they came out shooting. It seemed like it was almost too bright. Not saying the lights are too bright. Like the physical court was so bright, it didn't seem like anyone on either team really had any depth on their shots. Pritchard hasn't shot this poorly since opening night, and he could not get it going at all tonight, Buddha.
Some of the shots that they were taking in the first quarter were like clanking up. Like Tatum took a 3 in the first quarter that didn't hit the rim. It hit the side of the backboard. Like,
right.
It really was bad. The court is disgusting, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about it, and that's why the Celtics lost this game ultimately. I hate the color. I also hate like the faded like Lego looking lines. Like that made absolutely no sense. And then the other thing that pisses me off is the championship cup in the paint. It's very difficult to see the edge of the paint. Like it just is frustrating. It's confusing. Who gives a fuck about the NBA cup? I didn't want to win this thing anyways.
That's right, Buddha. Bruh, I don't know, man. Could we? Yeah, let's move on from Atlanta Hawks.
It doesn't get better because.
Hawks, but let's talk about some winning real quick. I need to remember what that feels like.
I mean, the Celtics played 4 games since we last recorded. They went 2-2 over those 4. This is uncharted waters for this program, for really this team over the last 2 years. And tonight they got killed on the glass. Like Dyson Daniels had a fine game. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Dyson Daniels for just like a toddler. They were just rolling the ball right to him and he got it. And you go, yay, good job. Okongwu was a monster. He even affected Jaylen's shot on the last shot because he busted his ass to get back into the play and make him double clutch. He was a monster. He had the game-winning bucket. And even when they did box him out, they needed at least 2 or 3 bodies to do it. Someone else would get it. And that goes all the way back to the Warriors game. The first note I have for the week, killed by offensive rebounds versus Golden State. So this has become what teams are targeting against the Celtics. And I'm fine with, because it's the easiest fix. Box the fuck out. That's it. That's all you got to do. Rebounding's an effort-based skill. That's it. And they can do that. They can turn it on. It's a little frustrating, at least for me, that they need to be told to do that.
Yeah, man, we can't be getting. I said that earlier. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. We just can't be getting out physical by these guys, man. It happened in the Warriors game. It happened in this one, bro. These guys are younger than us. We knew they were going to come with energy, especially without Trae. We can't be getting out physical out there. I know Al is only 28 years old, but he needs help down there too, especially with Kata. We got young legs down there, man. We got Cornette. We got young legs down there. We it's effort. It is the effort, and it's with the passes today. It was effort all around today. We just got beat in the effort category.
I mean, we've talked about the big man depth. Like, is it a problem moving forward? And some nights, we sit here and we say, friggin' Luke Cornette, man, what a special player. Like Brad Stevens, what a GM. And then there's other nights like tonight where, Horford really, he only got 1 run in the first half. He didn't come back in after he got subbed out. I did not think Kata looked good on either side of the floor tonight. He had a big block in the 4th, but really was not impressive comparative to how he played versus Golden State earlier this week. Again, Cornette wasn't great tonight. And when you
played 4 minutes, it was not a long run for Cornette either.
and deservingly so. Like he didn't deserve that run. And then, you go back and you look at the Brooklyn game, right, which is probably the game that we're going to spend the least amount of time talking about tonight. But you go back to the Brooklyn game, they started the two bigs with Tillman and Horford, and you were down 11-2 before the game even started. It was like you couldn't defend, you couldn't rebound, you couldn't shoot, you couldn't score. So I don't know what the answer is on that end, but ultimately, they got to get better production from those 5 men, especially against teams who have a player like, a Capella or Onyeka, right? Like those are studs.
A straight up energy guy. If they got energy down there and we don't have it, man, it's going to be a long night, it seems like.
But even tonight and the Golden State game, it's Tatum who needs to be hitting the glass more. And I understand he fucked up his ankle both times, but that's the guy. They had him tonight. They had like Derek White on Okongwu. And I'm sure the idea was like, yeah, let's funnel it down low. This is what we want. But then when it came to offensive rebounds and everything, Tatum's out on the perimeter, guarding Larry Nance Jr., not affecting, like, I think he only had 4 tonight, 4 rebounds. The Celtics aren't going to win games. Maybe it was 6, something like along those lines. But if he's not getting 7, 8 rebounds a night, this team is not as good. That's just, it is what it is. And it's a long season. I'm not going to kill Jason Tatum of all people. He's a top 5 MVP candidate right now. But they kind of go, when Jaylen and Jason are pulling in 14, 15 combined rebounds, I think they had 11 tonight. I don't even want to look. I know Jaylen didn't play in the Warriors game, but when those two aren't cleaning the glass, it does start with them. That's where coming back to last season, they put so much on their shoulders. They lead from the front when they're also not doing something that kind of spreads to the rest of the team. Pritchard's not going to start pulling down 12 rebounds a night. That's not his role. So
don't rule him out.
It has to be them. And for 82 games, for 82 games, I know that's exhausting. So we're sitting here picking on certain things. They lost 2 games. And both games, they had leads in the fourth quarter. Steph and Buddy Hield started hitting threes. Draymond had some big offensive rebounds in that Warriors game. That was supposed to be the Kata coming out party to the world. He was a monster that night. And it was immediately just erased because they couldn't close it late. And even in that game, Tatum had Steph a lot, and he was just kind of passing him off. And that's not a guy you can just do that to. At the focus, it's an 82 game season. It's still early November. You know what I mean? It's the 12th. It's a long way. The goal is May and June. The goal isn't November. But these are the kind of things this early in the season you're going to have to talk about, because we can't just talk about the wins. The wins weren't even that impressive.
Yeah, we gotta nip that in the bud now, because these are habit games. Obviously, these are habit games. These are habit games, bro. We can't be getting out physicaled this early in the season. That's obviously not winning basketball, and that's not gonna get it done. Way later, we're talking way later. Obviously, it's our job to panic. It's way later in the season, but that's not gonna help us when we need it in the playoffs, man. We gotta figure that out ASAP, because that's a little bit scary down there. I don't like that at all.
When Tatum does crash the defensive glass, like pace. Like he gets the ball, it's a quick outlet, or he leads the break. I thought the biggest takeaway from that Golden State game was Steve Kerr could be a third base coach on any MLB team. That guy the whole night, like this, over and over and over again. He just implored his guys to play with pace. And when the Celtics give up, a long rebound, and then the opponent, Kyle Anderson, bangs a 3, and then you hear the friggin' announcer, da, 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 and they go 18 seconds, 2 passes, and you get a bad shot out of it. Ultimately, like, you have to play with pace and intentionality. And Derek White is the guy who plays. He's never hesitating, and he bailed you out. Like, where would you have been tonight without Derek White?
Sure. I think Dick Lipe, who's the sultan of all Celtics stats, this was the first time since 2014, I believe the stat was, that the Celtics had 2 30-point scorers, and one of them was not Jason Tatum. That last game was Jeff Green and Avery Bradley, and tonight was Derek White and Jaylen Brown. So that is a rarity. You don't see that often when The Celtics, like, typically it'd be like, oh, the Celtics had 3 30-point scorers because Tatum just gets his. That's just what he does. So I don't know. I don't know if he needs to just sit a couple games. It's kind of a light week. Obviously, they play on the back-to-back. They play tonight, if you're listening to this, tomorrow for us here in real time. And it's against what? The Nets. You don't have to play Jason Tatum in a back-to-back against the Nets. We'll be okay. We don't play again until Saturday, and that's the Raptors again. So if you want to sit Tatum for these next 2 games, give him a little mini break, get those ankles looking right.
Perfect time.
Don't force anything right now, because then we get the Cavs next Tuesday. It's an IST game. Don't give a shit. We're playing the Cavs. Like, you should be getting up for that game anyways. Right now, they are the best team in the East, the best team in the league. They're undefeated. So that should be the game where you're like, all right, let's see where we really stack up. Because typically, historically, these last 5, 6, 7 years, that's been the Bucks, and that's no longer the Bucks. If you want a reason to feel good about the Celtics, watch the Bucks. I know they're winning tonight. They fucking stink. They're winning tonight because Dame's out. That's why they're winning tonight. The Bucks, they got Doc Rivers. They've got Damian Lillard. They previously had a championship-winning coach and Mike Budenholzer and a championship point guard and Drew Holiday. They said, nope, we're all set. We want losers and idiots, and that's what they went out and did. At no point in that game against the Bucks was I worried, because that was another game. They got off to a big start. Celtics 3-point variance early in these games hasn't been hot lately. And teams, like you said, the Nets got out to a big lead. The Bucks got out to a big lead. There wasn't a big lead tonight. But in half of the games since we last spoke, other teams have gotten out to a big lead. And neither of them was I worried, because, again, there was the Nets and the Bucks. But the Bucks last year in March got off to that big league and just pulverized us. They're not capable of doing that right now. I don't know. I don't think to anyone.
Like I said last week, I'm starting to feel bad for the Bucks, man. But once Giannis hit my boy JB with the too slow, I kind of took back all that feeling. They could do whatever they do out there. They got Darvin Ham. Figure it out, man. I don't know what to tell you, Milwaukee. Figure it out, man. For real.
I did want to get you guys' opinion on the fake like handshake thing. Like, I think it's kind of funny personally, but if you're 1-6, like, what the fuck are you doing? If that was my superstar, I'd be freaking out.
You got to do something. You're 1-6, bro. You're scoring 30. It's like, bro, I don't know.
You're a fucking loser. You're a loser. I don't care. That pissed me off.
I typically side with Jaylen in all things basketball and non-related. Giannis kind of put him in a box. You can't get hit with the too slow.
You got him. You got him.
Who's defending JB now? That's my guy. I've never said a bad thing about him.
I love Jaylen, and it was like right after he got elbowed in the head, so I understand he wasn't in the mood playing games with Giannis. And the Celtics, like, that was at 42-33 when that happened. The Celtics outscored them by like 30 the rest of the game. So it definitely didn't work for the Bucks, which I like. I like that, obviously, for the Celtics. In that moment, I don't care if you're a little kid. I don't care if you're 90 years old, anywhere in between. Someone gives you with the fake high five.
You got guys who just be like,
got egg on your face. I will say, like, what an opportunity for the Celtics now moving forward. Like, let's say you do get Milwaukee. I mean, what am I saying? It's not like you're playing Milwaukee in the fucking playoffs. But let's say you do get Milwaukee later in the season. How amazing would it be if they did it back to Giannis? Like, just hit him with the same exact thing. Like, they have the opportunity now.
I love that.
I feel like Giannis has the counter. Like, he's never once thought someone earnestly wanted to give him a high five. He's constantly waiting. Like, he's going to hit him with like bunny ears or some shit. Like, he's got a deep bag when it comes to trickeration like that.
He'll see the high five and just be like, what you trying to do, bro?
Or even like, what if like a bench Celtics player like Thanasis on that? Like, you know, he didn't see it coming. Like, that's what I'm rooting for.
Thanasis definitely doesn't see it coming.
Is Thanasis coming back for the Bucks?
Coming back? When was he ever a part of this?
I thought he's injured, right? No, I'm saying, is he?
No, he's not on the team. He's not on the roster, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, he's not on the roster.
No.
Oh,
Listen,
That's why they
the
won.
Bucks
that
didn't
six,
look like
man.
this when Thanasis
I was
was
about to say,
on,
that's why
on
they
the
won.
He was the
bench.
missing piece.
Bro, it makes sense now. It all makes sense.
And Doc knew he couldn't keep Thanasis. Like he doesn't have all the power if TA's sitting on the bench. Doc needs all the power so he can do nothing with it, but he needs it specifically for that reason.
Straight up.
It's just very funny. Like I couldn't respect, and I had Bucks fans being like, "Oh, you don't know ball if you think swapping out Drew Holiday for Dame Lillard is why this team's bad, brother." Their defense is terrible, and you traded an all-world defensive, like the front of your defense guy. Also, your offense has zero connectivity. You're telling me swapping out point guards had nothing to do with that? What are you talking about? Of course that had everything to do with it. I'm not even saying you don't make the trade, but at this point in time, we have enough evidence. They don't like playing together. It's a bad team. What's the amount of points the Bucks needed to be up for you to be like, all right, we might not win this game? For me, it's like 35.
Yeah, it had to be. It got to be like 20 and like deep in the fourth. Like deep in the fourth.
Sure,
Like,
right.
Damn.
We've
Right.
just run out of time more than anything. Yeah.
But if it's not that, I'm pretty sure we could get this back with them for real, for real.
I forget who it was, but somebody texted in our group message, like, is Doc Rivers the greatest coach of all time? Or like, is the 08 Celtics the greatest team of all time because they won in spite of Doc Rivers? I've said it over and over, but like, I think NBA teams are only as good defensively as their worst defender. It's one of my principles. But Keith Smith tweeted something. If you don't follow Keith Smith on Twitter, he's fantastic. The Bucks were minus 22 in Lillard's 19 second half minutes. At one point, the Celtics ran 15 consecutive half court actions to involve Lillard in the play. Like, I'm sorry. If your game plan is 15 times in a row, go attack the same guy, that's fucking embarrassing. Like, do something to change it up. And the Celtics, by the way, picked Milwaukee apart in that second half. I mean, it looked like JV versus Varsity.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. Beautiful thing to see.
But no, I mean, Drew Holiday gets attacked like that all the time, right? That's what.
It goes really well. Ask Marcus Smart.
The Nets game, Buddha said it's going to be the one we talk about the least. We play them today, so we should talk about them a little. The Nets have no idea they're a tanking team, so they're very dangerous right now. Later on in the season, they will not be as dangerous. Right now, they're a dangerous team to play. Ben Simmons he's getting credit for a lot of no-look passes where he's very much looking at the person he's passing it to. I'm all for positive Ben Simmons content because Lord knows there hasn't been a ton of it the last couple of years, unless it's in the middle of the summer and he's working out in some undisclosed gym somewhere. He's looking at these are not no-look passes. I'm sorry, I got to call it how I see it. But I don't know. I'm not pumped to be playing the Nets on the second night of back-to-back. Now, we're going to end up winning by 30 now that I've had this worry, and it's going to look stupid in less than 24 hours. But I don't know. They're too frisky right now for us to be coming off a loss to a similarly young, frisky team.
I think that's why I think that's why it's going to be a big blowout game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, man. But I really do think that I was worried about this game because it's the Trae-less, the Trae-less Hawks, obviously. I'm always worried about just these young teams that like we could just get out hustled by just because we could just it's just champion syndrome. You just get caught with your feet dragging sometimes. But after losing a game like this, I don't know about it. I don't think it's happening again this week. I really don't. I feel like it's gonna be sad times in Brooklyn and in Toronto, for real.
I was in the building for the Brooklyn game, my first appearance in the Garden.
Nice. How was it?
That's why I brought it up. I got to be honest. The Garden was fucking dead. It was dead. For an overtime game, like there was probably 2 or 3 times where I was like, all right, like the crowd's starting to feel it a little bit. I was pretty disappointed, for a Friday night basketball game. Just was not very good. The one time, and you brought up Ben Simmons, when he comes in the game, it does elevate the energy in the building. Like he came in and he was getting some shit. Like, and every time he touches the ball, like there's a feeling like of anxiety like
Sure.
in the building. Like, what is he going to do with it? What is he going to do
Yeah,
with it? Because you know he's not going to shoot.
Yeah, it's like anything can happen, but in like when Michael Jordan gets the ball, you're like anything can happen. In a positive way. When Ben Simmons gets the ball, it's like I might see something that's never happened before. Like he might end up with like a leg in the hoop. Like I don't even know how he did it, but he's upside down with his foot caught in the net. And he's just dangling upside. Like anything could truly happen when Ben Simmons. I was at the 1 point playoff game, and you knew it was hilarious in the moment, but you didn't realize you only had 1 point until the game was over. And I'll never forget being with hopeful Philly fans at that point. Like, that was a much different time. You understand? They still very much believed in the Ben Simmons Joel Embiid pairing.
True.
And for them to figure out like, oh, he only had 1 point. And that just being the beginning of it all. Beautiful. Beautiful.
That was nice, man. Good times, bro. Good times.
I do like a couple of pieces on that Brooklyn team. I mean, obviously Cam Thomas had 30 on us. He's a volume scorer. I mean, if you had and I don't play fantasy basketball, but if you had a fantasy basketball league, like having Cam Thomas as one of your guards would be just fantastic for stats. And I think Cam Johnson's a stud. He shoots it. He shoots it really, really well. He's being wasted on that Brooklyn team. I would come the deadline, if I'm any sort of contender, like I would look at that guy and say, man, that guy can get us over the top or get us, 1 round further in the postseason. I mean, he could legitimately be your leading scorer on some nights if he's feeling it. I was blown away by him. He looks like a different player than when he came out of North Carolina.
He makes too much, doesn't he? For most teams to go get him. Isn't he at like 30?
I don't know, honestly. I would have to go back and double check that.
I wouldn't be mad at him getting those star numbers, though. He deserves it, man. He's a hooper. I mean, both the Cams over there, man, they're hooping.
Cam Thomas.
Tatum missed the. Go ahead, Chloe.
No, what I was going to say is it doesn't matter. Tatum missed what the game winner.
Yeah, missed the game winner. I feel like it's hard to balance, right? You remember the misses almost more than you remember the makes, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Like, I think people forget some of his game winners. And obviously the Brooklyn game in game 1, I think in 2021, was, he doesn't get, I know it was a layup, but he doesn't get credit for an amazing finish, spin move in the lane.
All of them.
He had a buzzer beater versus the Knicks. I mean, people remember the misses more than the makes. And also they're a lot louder when he misses. Ultimately, it didn't matter because they go to overtime. They put Pritchard in the game, and we're okay from there. My only thing about JT in those moments is I would like to look back and say, hey, how many times have you gone to the rim with it? Because I'm sitting here talking about the make that we all remember, and that's when he went to the rim. Like enough of these faders, enough of these highlight moments. Like, hey, fuck it, I don't care if you go down the lane and get fouled and make 1 out of 2 free throws. As long as we win the game, it doesn't matter to me.
So that's the problem. That's exactly why he doesn't do it. He doesn't get that call in that situation ever. And proof positive, what was the play before? It was the out of bounds play where Missoula hits him backdoor and he gets the dunk through contact and they don't give him the and 1. And why would you drive the next play? Like Tatum did hit the game winner in this game. The Celtics defense was horrible. Was that another offensive rebound they gave up?
I think so.
Man,
it looked like it was going to be a turnover, and then someone got it. I can't remember who in the net scored there, but it was another. They could have iced the game on the defensive end. They didn't, and so Tatum had to hit a second game winner in the last 30 seconds of the game. He went 50% on game winners in this very game. So people who harp on, he never does anything, he never hits it. He hit it in this fucking game. I know Emond was going off in the group chat being like, this fucking guy never hits this shot ever. Drives me insane. Is the step back 3 the best shot we could have got there? No, I would have rather he'd taken a long 2. But I also understand why he's not trying to drive in that situation. He never gets those calls. That's the most definitive proof if I hated the Celtics, if I were a fan of a different team, I would point to Tatum never getting those calls as the evidence I needed to not call him a top 5 player. Top 5 players should get those calls. Even when you look back, they've run that play in the past where Tatum just runs straight down the middle and they hit him with a bounce pass and he dunks it. Did it against the Cavs. He's done it against a lot of teams. He never gets that call. Doesn't matter how much contact there is. The game winner against Philly, they did it and he hit a pull-up 3 instead. And then Embiid hit that full court shot after the buzzer that didn't count. Like, he's hit these game winners before from all over the court. He would have had one tonight. It just decided to not go in. I blame the ball on that more than anything, with all the fucking marks on it. What do you think about Jason Tatum, Stiz? You looking to trade him? What do you think?
Nah, never looking to trade JT. I just want him to stop.
Jason Tatum? Is that what they're calling him, Stiz? Is that
Jason Tatum? Nah, definitely not, bro. I just want my boy. I just want us to not just him, the team, man. Stop. We can't settle. I think it's just a settling thing. We talk about it like coming into the season. One thing we were worried about was just our boy settled a little bit too much. I don't think he's settling too much this season, obviously, where
sure.
It's in the game plan to shoot. That's Missoula ball. But I think in those moments, man, I think it's just you do have to, even if you're not getting those calls, we still got to put the pressure on the refs, man. We have to. I see JB do it a lot, but I think collectively, man, I'm just always gonna go back to we just got to out physical these guys. We can't.
Agree.
Yeah, we can't keep the season going, getting beat on plays that are effort plays, man. These offensive rebounds are effort plays, bro.
It's tough to maintain that for 82 games. You brought up Emond. Shout out to Mike Emond. Big week for him. Everybody go watch. New documentary came out on Dallas Braden One Last Ride. Please go take a watch. I got to watch a little bit of it, but I will be finishing it after this podcast. And shout out to Mike doing a fucking fantastic job. So if he was grumpy this week, he had a big week. That's totally okay. We talk about settling for jumpers, right? I did want to talk about this because I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the 2-for-1 at the end of quarters. I would love to see the analytics on the 2-for-1. Okay. I get it. Like, you get 2 possessions, you get 2 shots. It makes sense. But when your players take these fucking threes that aren't even close, it's like, was that the shot that's going to, like, that's not the 2-for-1. Like, that's a 1-and-1 with a shit 3-pointer. Like, that's not good. So I hate the 2-for-1. I mean, it makes sense, but it also doesn't when your best players take these fucking asshat shots. It's like, oh, well, there's 29 seconds left, so I can jack up a terrible 3 and no one's going to get mad at me. Go to the fucking rim.
Yeah, getting the sets early, man. I think 2-for-1s only work if you're in your sets early. If you're not, then what's it all for? You end up chucking up those ugly 3s. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about today's loss. I'm thinking about us getting out.
Yeah, punch him in the face. That's what I do. 2 punches, 1 face. That's my 2-for-1. I'll be physical.
Yeah, I'm ready to change. I'm ready to turn in one of my coins today. That's how I'm feeling right now.
we were pissed about the loss when me and Coley before the podcast were talking about the fucking Red Sox bullpen prospects. That's when we were pissed about this. All right. By the way, you both got the Red Sox hats on, so clearly we've moved on.
Come on, man. You know what it is, baby.
Yeah, I mean, Sox hat. I have a lot of Celtics hats. Historically, haven't. Historically, Celtics hats have always looked terrible. There's been a lot of effort in the past couple of years to make Celtics hats not bad. Yeah, I couldn't wear that hat, Buddha. It doesn't fit my head. Like, it's a solid hat. That's not a me hat.
Coley, doesn't fit mine either.
The Sox hat, it's official, man. It's damn near the perfect hat. Sox hats.
I don't disagree. And I get the 99 patch too.
Come on, it does so much. You can do so much with it. There's so many accessories. There's always
come on.
I mean, come on, man.
There's so many World Series patches. I can match the 04 with some blue jeans.
It's so nice. Yeah.
I'm pissed about this loss because I was going to get the in-season tournament champion patch right here on the side of my head. Listen, like, I was so excited for that. I was going to go down the lids.
Right? We could still
we talked about it a little beforehand before the show started. if it does boil down to plus minus, losing by 1 is the best loss you can have when it comes to point differential. You know what I mean? That's basically nothing. So all the wins, that will just get stacked on top of you. As long as you don't win a game by 1 and have them cancel out, you win by 10, 15, whatever it may be, you're golden in those situations. But you did bring up 2-for-1s, which is something I've been ranting about for years. It's not one bad shot, because then you're also leaving yourself 3 seconds on the other side. It's 2 bad shots. You're guaranteeing you take 2 dog shit shots. It's the worst strategy in professional sports. There is the fake spike throw that Bailey Zappi had in Germany against the Colts was a better strategy than the 2-for-1. When Jason Tatum came back from like the first time he hung out with Chris Paul and was like, he introduced me to the 3-for-1. I said, trade him now.
3 for 2.
We can't be A, influenced by Chris Paul, B, talking about 3-for-1s. A, that doesn't even make sense. The other team's definitely getting at least 2 possessions, no matter what. Like the math doesn't work there.
Oh my God.
This is not and will never be a math podcast.
No, it's the math. This is what fucking kills me with a lot of analytics across sports. The math is correct. Yes, 2 possessions in theory are worth more than 1 possession. No doubt. Agreed. When you're dealing with 2 possessions of 4 total seconds versus 24 seconds where you can do anything, that's when the math skews the other way. And yeah, that 1 possession is way more valuable. I definitely, if one team eliminated 2-for-1s, completely eliminated them, so we're fining you if you go 2-for-1 intentionally to all their players, I would wager they would be 4 to 5 points better than their opponents per week just by not chucking all those shots. You would be making, and you'd be putting them in a situation where they'd be trying to force weird I think you'd end up getting more 2-for-1s if you didn't go for 2-for-1s, because the other team would try to then get a 2-for-1 with the remaining time you've left, giving you 2 better possessions. I think I just fixed 2-for-1s.
You actually might have. There it is.
Doc Rivers out, Coley Mick in.
Fix it with logic.
I'd have the Bucks humming. There's no doubt in my mind. What is Doc like? What could he possibly be saying to them?
Go out and do it, fellas. Go out and do it, fellas. You know it. Time out. Darby, you got anything? All right.
Yeah. Everyone's like, man, that was uninspiring. I just can't. Did you see the old, it went viral because people were making fun of Doc and they were like, the Bucks need to get back to this intensity. And it was just Giannis during a timeout a couple years ago, just like really into it, like very expressive. And just in the background's just Jeff Teague, like, I can't wait to retire. Like just
Oh man, I think I did see the clip where he's just yelling at the team instead. One of those.
He's from the back, like, man, what is he on right now? We get it.
He's the funniest man on the internet right now. He's the funniest man.
He is. He was killing me. It's like everything that's happened in the NBA the last 15 years somehow goes back to Jeff Teague was in the background somehow.
He was always there.
Yeah.
He was always there.
We're gonna find out the LeBron game, that game 6 in Boston. Teague was standing, was in the crowd. Just like, I bet you can't score again, LeBron.
Was he? He was 0-16 against LeBron in the playoffs.
For real?
Was that Kemba or Teague?
I think it was Teague. I think Teague said he never won a game, and they were up like when he played for the Pacers. I think like those Danny Granger years. If you know, you know on the Danny Granger part, but. He was on the Indiana teams, and he said that they were up like 30 at halftime. And Jeff Teague said something like, man, we finally got him. And Braun's like, we good. They come all the way back, win the game.
Damn.
I mean, there's no shame in losing on LeBron. Trust me, we did
Especially
it.
Especially not in that era. He was taking teams out, bro. Toronto couldn't get it done, bro. You remember when they changed it to LeBronto? That was crazy. LeBronto.
He still calls it that. He did not respect the Raptors at all. He didn't really respect us for a stretch there. Now he just hates us, just general hates.
Hey, bringing up LeBron's old home, right? When you talk about Cleveland next Tuesday, right? That's a big one. Do you guys care about, let's scratch the in-season tournament action. Do you care about home court advantage throughout the playoffs? Or like if Cleveland does run away with the 1 seed and, it's really not a competition, like, are you afraid to go into the land and try to beat them 4 out of 7? Like, is that important to you? Is that something that you would push your guys the extra level to get that home court advantage?
I think we should get home court advantage just because we should get home court advantage. But I'm not afraid to go. I don't think we're afraid to go in anywhere, especially with the attitude that JB kind of leads the team with this year. That he's definitely trying to spearhead with this year. It's like, bro, like we're not afraid of anybody. We're not backing down with anybody. And if we come with that mentality, I don't see a team that could beat us. As long as we get these little early kinks knocked out now. The effort plays, man. The effort plays, lazy passes, getting beat on the boards. We get rid of that stuff now, bro. We get back to championship basketball. There's nobody that could beat us, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not pushing for the 1 seed. The Cavs most likely aren't going to go undefeated. I feel comfortable saying that. So it's one of those things, like it will sort itself out a bit. Like we're only 3 games behind them if we want to start doing that math at this point of the season. So I certainly not decided. For me, what I'm most interested in with the Cavs specifically, we've never really played them going all the way back to 2008 on even terms. One team's always been like substantially better than the other because it was either LeBron James is back from Miami. Like the only reason even in 10 it was considered even terms was like LeBron was just that good. His teammates were terrible. Like those were not stars. Like Wally Zerbiak was on that team. You know what I mean?
Antoine Jameson was a shell of himself. I was in the building for Game 6 when he whipped off the jersey, and my brother was all over Antoine Jameson all night. What a scrub.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be really good for them, and he just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like that was a bad supporting cast. It just looked even because LeBron was that fucking good. And then he gets to Miami. That's probably the closest it's been in Miami they were just growing up. They just didn't know who they were yet. But that's not Cleveland either. So when he comes back and he's got Kyrie and we've got IT, the teams we were talking about last week, yeah, those weren't fair battles. I think they had an NBA record beatdown of us in that game 1. Like I think that's the largest blowout in playoff history. That wasn't like Jordan when he held the Jazz like 47 points or whatever that was. So in terms of Celtics Cavs, one team's always had an advantage. I still see us with the advantage right now, especially fully healthy, but I think it's the closest it's been in terms of talent on both teams.
Oh, for sure. That team blossomed, man. I didn't see it. I didn't see it before. But that team blossomed, man. They're balling. They deserve it. All credits to them. All credits to their staff, man. They're doing their thing over there in Cleveland right now.
Stiz, you bring up the staff. I mean, I'm such a Kenny Atkinson fan. I know it's easy to say that when his team's 12-0, but he got shafted in Brooklyn. Like he had those guys playing so well. It was like D'Angelo Russell and Rondé Hollis Jefferson, and they were like a 4 seed. They were playing so well, and the organization decided to hand it over to poison number 1, Kyrie Irving, and poison number 2, James Harden. I like Kevin Durant, but I mean, Kenny Atkinson got screwed. If Kenny Atkinson was the coach in Brooklyn, they would have won a playoff series. I guarantee.
Sure.
They would have won a playoff series.
At the beginning of that sentence, I thought you were going to aim so much higher. I do agree with your point, though. They shouldn't have fired him. That was always a weird decision to do that. And also, shout out to him. He took the Hornets job last year and immediately was like, you know what? I was getting crazy. I'm not coaching the Hornets. Nice. I'm not that desperate. I'll be on the Warriors bench one more year and then we'll see what opens up. And yeah, credit to the Cavs. I didn't think Bickerstaff was a bad coach. They just obviously the players didn't like him in Cleveland. Firing a guy just because your players don't like him is always a risky move. Like we just said with Brooklyn, it doesn't always work.
Milwaukee as well.
It has worked for the Cavs, and I think it's going to continue to work. The buy-in there right now is tremendous. I think they did a good job front office wise, not overreacting to a down year from Garland last year. He led all of the rumors all over the summer. Is he going to go to the Spurs? Is he going to go to this place? Is he going to go to the Magic? They end up holding him. Brilliant, because he's been, I believe he's the reigning player of the week. He's been the guy he was 2 years ago. As long as no one hits him in the face, which keeps happening to him for some reason, he'll be fine.
One of my big takeaways from tonight's game, and I'll relate it back to the Cavs, but Missoula played 10 guys within like the first 18 minutes. That's a really deep rotation. And I don't know if I like it. Like, I want it, especially in an in-season tournament game that none of us care about. Wink, wink. Like, I would have put it back down to 7 or 8 guys, at least for the first half, and then see where you're at. Cleveland, I think, they have guys, obviously they got the 2 guards, right? Garland and Mitchell are studs, and then you got the 2 big men in Mobley and Allen that I think are fantastic. I'm as big an Evan Mobley fan as any player in the league right now. But outside of that, they really need to lock down who are going to be their guys, right? If it's the Celtics, you sure as hell are going to play Dean Wade because he lights us up every time, right? Okoro, is he the floor spacing that they need? I don't really know. I've always been a big George Niang guy. He's a Merrimack Valley guy, so shout out to George. But ultimately, if he's playing defense against Tatum or Brown, or you're only as good as your worst defender, I'm going at George. So I do think that they do need to figure out, is Karis LeVert going to play big minutes for them? Who is going to be guys, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for them? And that's going to be a problem.
Talk about Celtics killers. Karis LeVert's at the very top of that list. Karis LeVert's coming with those Brooklyn teams that we were just talking about and put 50 on us. No problem. Him and Dean Wade do love playing against the Celtics. Niang thinks he does. And then he just ends up getting a tech and fucks up and pisses off Jaylen because he tries to tug his dick off when he was with the 76ers. A weird player, George Niang. I always enjoy beating him. I also think he's the highest winning percentage in the league. There's some weird stat like that because those Philly teams are so good in the regular season and the Cavs have been too. Very peculiar player. I look forward to putting him out this year. But your overall point, I think, is a good one that they do need to, which people were saying about us this point last year too. I was thinking about that watching Pritchard these last couple of games. Last year, people after the Kristaps and Drew trades were like, man, the Celtics have no depth. And a lot of that was just Pritchard hadn't proven himself yet. And we're a year later now, and it's the Celtics are super deep, and it starts with Peyton Pritchard. He is the depth. Without him, I don't know that people are talking about the depth any differently than they were a year ago. He's become such an integral part of the team in so many facets. Part of the reason they lose tonight, I can talk about the rebounding. Pritchard didn't shoot his normal averages. If he does that, Celtics win by 9-10 points, even as poorly as they played.
True story. Peyton Pritchard's he's been doing him, man. And it's literally, people said that about our bench last year, but it's the same exact bench. The same exact bench this year. It's just PP doing his thing, bro. So shout out to the boy, man. Eventually Hauser's gonna start. I feel like Hauser's gonna light it up the same way. And then things will start clicking, man. I'm down right now. I'm feeling a little down because my boys lost to the Trae-less goddamn Hawks on a Tuesday. But it's all right. We'll figure it out, man.
They said the same thing about the 08 team. They had no depth after the Garnett trade. You sign James Posey, you get Sam Cassell, 2-time champ with the Celtics now. You got a PJ Brown. Cleveland, I think they're a team who, I mentioned Cam Johnson earlier. I don't know what the money situation looks like, but Cleveland should be aggressive at the deadline to try to go, try to find another piece that can help that team. I do worry about their 3-point shooting. I don't know if they have enough.
Sure.
And if they are playing 3-point shooters, are they good enough defensively? Vice versa. So I do worry about that a little bit. We bring up Peyton Pritchard, and we talked a lot about that second half in Milwaukee, but Pritchard single-handedly kept the Celtics in the game. He had 17 points, 5 for 8 from 3 in the first half. I mean, without him, I don't know if you come back in that Milwaukee game. I really don't.
Sure. No, I think they trust him to do that, to be like, hey, when you're in, you are the offense. I don't care who you're out there with. If you catch the ball and you're open at all, that needs to go up. You're going to obviously be bringing the ball up. If you have a mismatch, go. And Pritchard does believe he has a mismatch against anyone who's covering him. And he's not completely wrong. He's so quick. He's so shifty. He's even gotten better around the free throw line this year. It's not just anything from behind the arc. He will get into the teeth of the defense and make things uncomfortable. He's good enough to pass out of it. His height and all that, like you talked, as you said a couple of times this episode, you're only as good as your worst defender. He's been forged by the fires of Marcus Smart, Derek White, and Drew Holiday every day of practice, his whole career. Every second of his life, that's what he's had to deal with. He does not care about you and your guard defense. It does not bother him. And I love that.
Not true story. Big shouts to PP, man. Earn that money, baby. Keep balling, brother. Keep balling, bro. You earned it, man. Keep balling, bro. You got the ultimate green light whenever you step on the court, and I love it, man. And you were absolutely right. We do not come back without that spark and energy that he brings off the bench. I just want to continue doing his thing. I want him to lead that. I want him to lead that second unit. I want Hauser to get the same energy that Peyton got right now, and we just keep this thing rolling, man. Bring that energy to Cleveland, because we're gonna need it. And dealing with these young Nets, man, tomorrow or today if you're watching it. But deal with these young Nets. We're gonna need that energy, man. We're definitely gonna need that energy.
Stiz, you said that there's like he needs to lead that second unit. There are times where Pritchard's leading the first unit, and back to Coley's point, like, you know, it doesn't matter who's on the floor. Like, he is a part of the offense no matter like how that goes. Now, I will say I was a little disheartened the first quarter of the Golden State game. I thought he looked small out there. Like, he got blocked a couple of times. I think a couple of his passes got deflected. I also thought Cornette did not look good in that Golden State game. And it's good to have options, right? You know, it doesn't help if all your options can't get a defensive rebound like they did tonight. But I was a little disheartened during that Golden State game with Pritchard. The other thing from that Golden State game, guys, that I need to bring up is its pickup point. So Andrew Wiggins, and say what you want about Andrew Wiggins, like whether he lived up to the hype or not, you know, again, he's turned himself into a really, really good NBA basketball player, and he met Jason Tatum at half court when Tatum was dribbling the ball up or when he was that four-man reversal. His pickup point completely threw the Celtics out of what they wanted to do, and they looked uncomfortable all night. Vice versa, when you're guarding Giannis, your pickup point cannot be the fucking elbow. Like, you get that guy with a full head of steam, he's coming downhill, he's automatically going to go by you, and he's automatically going to lay it in. If Wiggins was picking up Tatum where the Celtics picked up Giannis, they would have been in big trouble. Big trouble. If I was any team in the East, I'd be calling on Andrew Wiggins because that guy defends Jason Tatum better than anyone in the league.
I think the Warriors in general, they always have a solid game plan against us. Obviously, we saw it in 22, but erase that memory from my head. But we saw it then, and they always Steve Kerr always comes with a solid game plan for us. I was hoping he didn't this time because I wanted my revenge. But we'll see him next. We'll see him next time. But they always for some reason have a way to make us feel uncomfortable, bro. They always do it that way. Like if it's Draymond or Steve Kerr, it's something over there, bro. They figure it out.
Yeah, it was an annoying game. Like I said, they were up, I think it was 5 points with 4 minutes left. Something along those lines. That just needs to be a game they got to close out. You know what I mean? Up at all. Down single digits with that much time left. I am expecting a win. And I think that speaks to how good the team is and how comfortable they are in those situations. But all 4 of these games we're talking about were dogfights, more or less. And you see some of the shooting variants come through. You see how easy these rebounds that they're giving up can sway a game. Like if they just block out Okongwu, they win this game. They shoot free throws, it's over. And it can be that simple. And when you're not blowing teams out, which they had a 15-point lead tonight, they didn't hold it. And the Hawks just never panicked. The Celtics still do have this thing where they're like, this other team's just going to stop playing, surely, and we're just going to win. They know we're going to win. We know we're going to win. And then they look up and it's 117, 116, zeros in the clock, and you've lost. So that's, I don't know. Stiz talked about it. It is something that happens to champions and really good teams. I don't think it's some deadly problem. It's annoying. It's fucking annoying to watch. Just tossing wins away.
I think some of the arrogance, like coming from this podcast in terms of like we're invincible and nobody can beat us. Like, I'm not saying that nobody can beat us on a given night. But my question is, like, is there a team in the NBA that is good enough to beat us in a 7-game series? 4 out of 7. And at the end of the day, guys, like, water finds its level. I love that line. I love that quote. I use it all the time. I'll probably say it 100 more times in the next like 10 episodes. But water finds its level. And if we go 2-2 this week because fucking Larry Nance is hitting threes and Kyle Anderson hit 3 threes. Kyle Anderson, he might be the worst shooter in the National Basketball League.
In a row. Yeah, man.
That's the variance. You're going to live by it. You're going to die by it. It's more the things that you can control. Shooting, weirdly enough, it's the one thing you really can't control. Like we saw with that Tatum last attempt tonight. Perfect form shot, wide open, no hitch, no nothing. It went in the fucking hoop. The hoop said, no, thank you. Nothing you can really do about that. To Siz's point, you can control your energy level. You can't control how physical you're playing. You can't, and like the Hawks, I think they said during the broadcast, they're second in pace behind the Bulls of all teams. So like when you know you're going to be in a track meet all night, are you going to try and match that? Or are you just going to say, no, you're going to play our way and we're just going to grind you to death? And they kind of fell in some no man's land in the middle. We have to, because we have this show, react to every game. It's such a long season. It's like, there hasn't been enough time for these problems to fester and for me to say these are long-term concerns. That's where I'm at right now. I'm in a no man's land.
I'm going to fix it now so we don't have to talk about it later. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Let's just fix it now so we don't have to talk, so it doesn't become a lingering thing, bro. I've seen it now twice. Let's not make it a habit, fellas. Zula, you know what you got to do. If you got to bring them there's some fights coming up. If you got to bring them out, you already know what it is, man.
This is my new quick. Could the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight be what wins or loses the Celtics season? Because if Jake Paul shows anything, if he's still alive by the time it's over, Missoula's going to use that as a teaching point. Like the odds, anyone can beat anyone on a given day. That's how he's going to frame that.
That's a true story.
He's going to show the documentary to the team. Next thing you know, Al Horford just re-signed for like 5 years. He's like, I got another couple of years left in the tank.
He's not wrong. I do love how Al looks right now, but I also love how that Underdog app looks. I love how the Rollin Jays Banner 19 promo code looks when I enter it and get $1,000 in bonus cash. And we were talking about Pritchard a little bit for tonight against the Nets. Because he's coming off a bad shooting performance, I am taking his hires. He just does not seem to stack bad games on top of each other. And I think they're going to be leaning on him a lot in this game because of back-to-back. Jaylen's coming back from injury. Tatum's rolled both ankles in a week. It does feel like it's going to be a big PP game. How do you guys feel about this Nets game?
No, absolutely. We already know how he is, man. He's a dog. He's not about to, if he had a game like this, a bad shooting game like this, he's definitely going to come out attacking the Nets. So I already know what type of game it's going to be for him. Definitely take the high.
Yeah, I'm definitely over on Pritchard as well. I mean, again, back to back, I think minutes will. Al didn't play a ton tonight, so I do. Do you think Al's going to play tomorrow?
No, and he shouldn't. And Missoula should be fired if he does.
Well, you take that guy out of the lineup, it's going to readjust everything. You'll see a lot more, Tatum at the 4, right? I mean, I know he did play a ton tonight, but Pritchard's going to get his minutes. If one rotation player is out, Pritchard's going to get his minutes. He's going to get his shots. So I'm definitely taking the over on him. And then Cam Johnson, I'm taking the over on him, whatever it is. I really don't care.
And Cam Thomas, just do it because he's going to put the shots up. If he touches the ball, he's shooting it. So.
They got the Raptors on Saturday at home.
No Scotty Barnes, right?
I don't think Scotty's playing. They had someone else. Quickly's out for the foreseeable future.
Oh, we could fit Tatum. Let's heal that ankle up, baby.
Don't even send him through
RJ.
customs. Don't even send him through customs.
Honestly.
Have the weekend with
Let's-
Deuce. Chill out. Put
Honestly,
ice on the
bro.
ankles.
It's in Boston. It's at Nets, Raptors at
never
home,
mind.
Cavs at home, which is good. We don't have to deal with the weirdo up there.
We don't have to exchange
talking
monies and all
bad
that
about
stuff.
DeRozan. Yeah, I don't want Tatum near any bad fathers out there. As the premier father in the world, Jason Tatum, I can't have him influenced by any of these people out there. Shout out to JT, by the way. He's putting in a bid for a St. Louis WNBA team. I believe he put up 200 mil, which no light investment at all. Shout out JT. That was wild news to see, and I genuinely hope it goes through. I don't.
Oh yeah, backing out the Brinks truck for that one. Shout out to him. That's tight.
Yeah, that was a power move and a half. But yeah, Raptors, you got to beat the Raptors. I don't want to have a single possession game against the Raptors. I need that one to be
not a Scotty Barnes-less Raptors team. We can't do that twice. We can't do that twice.
And then it's the Cavs on Tuesday. I mean, we've been predicting undefeateds every week. They lost once coming into last episode. Now they've lost twice coming into this one. They didn't lose 3 times in a row at all last year. Not one time, not by accident. So now's not the time to start that shit. That next episode, I'll be real angry if we're dealing with multiple losses again.
The whole background's gonna look different if we go. It's gonna look real different in here. Here we go 0-3.
We'll be recording right after that Cavs game next week, so we'll either be elated or they could go 2-1. If that's the one, furious. Buddha, what do you have for this upcoming week?
Everything I say on this podcast, I end up like just completely eating crow for the rest of the week. So I'm gonna say they go 1-2, and I hope I'm wrong.
Who are you taking the 2 losses to?
No, they're gonna beat Brooklyn tomorrow night. They're gonna lay an egg. They're gonna lay an egg Saturday night. They're gonna go out Friday night. They're gonna be drinking a little hungover on Saturday, and then I think Cleveland's gonna give us some problems. Until they prove to me that they can, man the glass. I'm a little worried about that.
I didn't even think about that glass problem with Jared Allen is going to be a major issue. I genuinely the last 2 weeks, even though I said undefeated, I felt a little bit ways about a couple teams. This week, after losing to the Trae-less Hawks on Tuesday, I don't think we're in a position where the team is going to let something like that happen again. So I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing to the Nets, and I definitely don't see them losing to the Raptors. That Cavs game, after what Buddha just said, makes me feel a little bit worried, but I feel like we'll get it done, man. I feel like it'll be a really good game, obviously, but I feel like we'll get it done late. I hope we out physical them boys and gut it out. I feel like that's the game where hopefully the turning point happens with that.
Yeah, I'm obviously most interested for the Cavs game. The Nets and Raptors move me zero at all.
Tell them how you really feel, Coley.
It's like, listen, there's 82 of them. You got to play them all. We already got 2 out of the Hornets. 2 against the Hornets out of the way. There's only so much.
These ones done early.
Yeah, only so much you can care about. But I do want to see the little things improve. These are perfect warm-up games for that. The last game they walked into like, hey, we want to win this game, was the Warriors game, which they did not walk away with a win from. The Pacers had us get circled. They came out and beat us. The Warriors wanted to win that as much as we wanted to win that. They walked out of that one. The Cavs want to say, hey, this is what we look like fully healthy. We did not get to play you fully healthy. We're going to completely ignore that you were not fully healthy and just focus on the fact that we weren't fully healthy and pretend like that was why we lost last year. So they're going to come in very motivated. I do think we're going to beat the Cavs. I think the Cavs will be undefeated going into that game, and will be their first loss.
Well, we also did I cut you off, bro? Are you done?
No,
I'm going to cut you off. Bro, what we're also like, I know we're not forgetting it, but what I'm not thinking about much is like, bro, we are the defending champs, bro, and every single team, every single game for this next 82 is giving us their best shot. Their best shot. And we can't get caught slipping by these teams because we can't get caught slipping by a Hawks team because we know how they're playing. Dyson Daniels is going to come and try to play his best game against the defending champs. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So we gotta keep that in mind, fellas. I'm talking to you boys in the green and white. You boys got to keep that in mind, man. These guys are going to come for you every single game. And man, stay focused, guys. Stay focused. Stay physical because they're coming that way. You guys are the defending champs, bro. And let this last week be a testament to what every team is going to bring to you guys.
Jake, how are we feeling over these next three?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but it just feels like we're so due for an undefeated week. I've picked undefeated every week, so it hasn't gone great, but I'm sticking with it. We're going to go 3-0.
I like
they
it.
are due. They are due to string some together. Coming off a loss, coming off a 2-2, quick 3-0. It's like this never even happened. They beat the Cavs next week. We're looking at everyone like food, like we should be right now, anyways. That's how I'm thinking about it. And yeah, give JT some rest. It's early in the year, sure. He had the Olympics. He played through the finals last year. He sprained both of his ankles in the last week. Give him these next two off. Have him ready for that Cavs game, and let's go thump them.
Let's go, boys. Let's go C's, man. For real, boys. We need this undefeated week for my morale. For real, bro. For my house, for my space. We need this, y'all. For me.
Do it for Stiz.
Please.
Bro, did you have any final thoughts before we sign off for the week?
I do. I did a little digging this week because I don't really remember Al Horford taking a lot of threes when he was in Atlanta. He was there for 9 seasons. He took 321 three-pointers his whole career in Atlanta. In the 2022-2023 season, Al Horford took more threes than that in one season than he did in his whole time in Atlanta.
That's so hard.
I think there's a lot of broken jump shots out there in the NBA. We've talked about a couple. I think that when you look at a Luke Cornett or a Neemias Queta and in their development, I would like to see them extend past the 3-point line. And it doesn't have to happen this year. Cornett shot a shitload of threes with the Knicks. He shot 272 threes in 2 seasons with the Knicks, and he's only shot 54 threes in 5 seasons with Boston. So my only point is that the way the game is trending, you have to be able to shoot the 3 ball. And I think Al Horford's a great example of somebody who maybe wasn't shooting it really well at 25, 26, but in his 30s was able to shoot at a really high clip. And now he's one of the best shooting big men in the league. And because there hasn't been a lot of great shooting big men over the course of time, Al Horford, you could honestly say, is one of the best like big man shooters of all time, which I know is crazy to say, but it's really not because there hasn't been that many of them. So if someone's a bad shooter at 22, that doesn't mean they're going to be a bad shooter at 32. And you got to have patience with these guys.
Patience in that jump shot, baby. He grabbed that thing from like up top here.
When he does that in pump fakes, I just go, oh no. It's going to take so long to reload that thing. Like there's no chance this one's
It's
going
so nice.
down.
Everybody falls for it every single time.
He's like the American Revolution reset, and he's got to put the fucking gunpowder back in. He's got to put the bullet in.
Anytime he pump fakes, I just go, call timeout. This isn't gonna end well. I can't see what's about to happen. It's crazy. Brooke Lopez, another guy who obviously added a 3-point shot much later into his career, much like Al. I don't know how I feel about Cornett. Like, I'm shocked he took that many with the Knicks. Now, those Knicks teams were also awful. I don't know if it's all Luke Cornett shooting threes fault, but those Knicks were awful. I'm not willing to go that far. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, even like he's obviously money from the free throw line, which should tell you he could be fine with a set shot from anywhere. Shout out Rob Williams, by the way, hit his first career 3
Beautiful thing
with the Trailblazers. No idea when he practiced that.
Yeah, Tom.
No, and Rob was a guy, Buddha, who when he was here, he could hit that 18-footer with like relative ease. He just never looked to shoot it unless there was 2 seconds left on the shot clock and he was forced to. I always thought he was a guy who could extend to the corners, not necessarily above the break, but to the corners for sure. Kada, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I know he was like 100% on free throws for his first 6-7. I want him as a lob threat more than anything, which he needs to focus on because he's bricked a couple lobs, which that Kata's been great. Can't be bricking lobs. That's not what you're out there for. You flush those things.
He's too athletic for himself. He has to figure it out. He still has to figure out that part. Once he figures out it's like what his legs can do, like, all right, I have this much bounce. All right, let me like like he has to work with that for a little bit. It seems like he's just like, yo, these are new legs. He's new legs.
He's like dunking on like an 8-foot hoop. Like he can't judge how high he's like dunking 2 down.
He's like, oh. The rim's like he's like, oh shit.
Oh man, I like Kata. I do wonder if that 88's weighing him down a bit. It still doesn't look right. I'd take him so much more serious if he had a different number.
True story.
And that's not a Celtics retired too many numbers problem. We have plenty of numbers not in the 80s.
Not 88.
That's going to be episode 5.
Renaming or renumbering Kata. Yeah, I am going to think about that the rest of the week. What
we got some numbers. I'll bring some numbers back. We got some open slots, right? Do we have any cool numbers left they could have?
So that's
all the cool numbers are going.
Most of the cool numbers are being worn by, like, if they're not retired, they're being worn by like Tatum, Jaylen, D. White, even Pritchard snuck in 11. Ah, boy.
Shireman, 55.
88 might have been like, yo, this is what we got.
Well, Springer's 45, right?
Is he? Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Maybe he was. No, Springer might be 28. I think Springer's 28.
No, Al's 28.
No. Age, yeah. Age he is for sure. I thought Springer was 45.
44? Well,
44.
44.
44. So is 45 open? Does no one have 45 right now?
The Romeo Langford number?
I'm mad at that.
45 on Kata would look great.
I can't believe the Celtics didn't retire Jeff Teague's number 55.
Joe Johnson too.
They put up everybody else.
Joe Johnson wore 5'5". 55's
Baylor Shireman.
50.
He's kind of lighting it up in the G League.
Is he?
Yeah, he had a really good game.
Shout out to him, man.
He was like averaging 32 over 2 games, shooting 50% from 3. Like just
we'll see you in 3 years, kid.
Yeah, literally.
Absolutely
cooking for real like that. Keep cooking, brother.
But Hauser's got 30.
Those are all the 30. Good numbers are
31 through 35 are all retired. 36.
All the good
36. Smart word, but it's not a good number.
37, Semi Ojeleye.
Yeah, he did rock 37. It's tough. It's tough. And Kristaps at 8.
Yeah, all the good numbers are gone for real.
I don't know. Even 77 looks better than 88. Like I would like 77 more.
Is that
no numbers?
No.
Like if Luka wasn't a thing, would you still say that?
For a big man, yeah. For a big man, I think the 7 looks more
7,
like 88.
9 are like the only ones, and they're gone.
Remember when Antoine got traded back from the Hawks and he wore 88 the rest of the season? Like that was chaos. That was absolute chaos.
I'm looking at the numbers we retired, bro. There is nothing left, yo. Like for real, it's cooked.
I mean, we punted 1 and 2.
35. It's cooked from like 1 through 35. There's like, and you said it, like anything that's not already retired, the starting 5 got pretty much.
Yeah, 1 and 2 they punted for Walter Brown and Red Auerbach.
Mhm.
3 was what, DJ?
Yep. Dennis Johnson, 5, KG. Bill Russell, 6. 10, JoJo White. Bill Cousy. At 14, Tommy. 15, Tom Sanders. At 16, John Havlovich. At 17, bro, it's cooked.
I like how you know
Havlovich?
none of the old white guys' names. He called him Bill Cousy.
Bro, what?
And being John Malkovich.
Essentially, he was just Tom Menino right there.
I said Bob.
Yeah, he was.
I said
He
Bob,
did.
my bad. You know what's crazy, bro? I'll tell you guys after the stream. We'll talk about this. It's actually, we'll talk about
This
it.
is what
my
happens
first
after
day
the podcast,
reading
by the way,
of
guys.
Trae. It's
We're
my
going to
first
stay on for
day.
another 30 minutes just doing this.
I'm never doing this again.
That was unbelievable.
Just make Stiz read the rosters
Bro,
from the 1960 Celtics.
Bro, I'm actually, all right, I'll take it.
That's got to be a new segment.
Play y'all off
No,
stream.
well, we're gonna find out if we can do this segment or not. I'm Coley Mick. This is Rollin Jizz. We'll see you guys next week after a quick 3-0.
She wanna be gone to November. She wanna be gone to November. She wanna be gone to November. Wanna be gone to November. Maybe I should just forget her, 'cause she wanna be gone to November. I hope I can afford a sweater. I know it gets cold in the winter. She wanna be gone to November. Wanna be gone to November. Maybe I should just forget her, 'cause she wanna be gone to November. Gone to November. They got passion for fashion, struck like this camera's flashing. Her pussy be so cold, felt like I slept with Aspen. Every day we relaxing, every night plus we pass them. She just live for her dreams, I just live for the action. We both live for the rush. She booked our flight at brunch, table covered with drugs. That's what she does for lunch. My eyes are always red though, so I can't tell her much. And even on a Sunday, she look like she on the runway. I see her face everywhere, on the side of the subway. Flashback views of ocean, talks about us on a fun day. But the past is the past, and I hope we'll get past it one day. Wanna kick it again? Are you down for a pump, babe? We was peanut butter and jelly, Barney and Betty. I was walking on thin ice, but you would never tell me. Got too much pride, so if she wanna leave, then I'ma let her. But now I'm stuck in June, and it feels like it's mid-December. I hope I can afford the sweater. I know it gets cold in the winter. I just wanna get it together, but she wanna be gone till November. She wanna be gone to November. Wanna be gone to November. She wanna be gone to November. Gone to November. I should just forget her, 'cause she wanna be gone to November. I know it gets cold in the winter. I hope I can afford the sweater. She wanna be gone to November. Wanna be gone to November. Maybe I should just forget her. She wanna be gone to November. She wanna be